Hello, welcome to our first ever episode of the Mental Health Podcast series. My name is Edison and I'll be your host for today. Yes, if you're wondering, hey, why is it the same old guy over and over again? Well, I guess I don't have nothing better to do. So I'm here, of course, talking about my pain, but joining me today on this painful but interesting journey nonetheless, we have a few of our very beautiful friends here. We'll start with you, Suvin. Let's go around the table. Say
Hi
hi.
guys, I'm Suvin, and I'm the president of Rotaract 𝐓𝐡𝐞, and currently I'm studying cybersecurity. And it's really a hassle topic to having a course. So yeah, and now pass it back to Stephanie.
Hi everyone, I'm Stephanie and I'm the Community Service Director of Rotaract Club of Petaling Jaya. I'm also a university student studying Bachelor of Mass Comm at Taylor's. So I'll pass it on to Kirtana.
Hi everyone, I'm Kirtana. I'm the Community Service Director of the Rotaract Club of AIMS, and I'm also a Year 3 medical student, and I'm excited to be here today. So I'll pass it on to Rakesh.
Hi everyone, my name is Rakesh and I'm a member of Rotaract Club of Klang Central, and I'm also the District ComServe Director for this term. I'm currently pursuing my tertiary education in Accounting and Finance in Sunway University. It's great to be here. Back to you, Edison.
Yes, this is indeed a very, very formal introduction, but yes. Since most of you are students, God, I feel so old right now. Since most of you are students, right, I think today's topic would be somewhat interesting, or I would say relatable to all of us. Well, I realized that I didn't introduce myself properly as well. I am currently the ComServe Director, as well as the Vice President for Rotaract Club of Kuala Lumpur. And yes, I just graduated last year, so I feel your pain. It's been, I wouldn't use the word revolutionary. It's been I can't find a word for it. These changes are so sudden. It's just, like just boom, right? So like since most of you guys are studying, I think it is only fair if we talk about the topic of our podcast today. It is nothing but studying from a screen. So I'm pretty sure all of you have this struggle of online classes, and you have your own takes on it. So as university students, of course, I think we would look into a few aspects as to where and what and how are you guys coping with it. But before that, I just want to go around the table and say and ask like, how are you guys holding up so far?
Well, I'm doing all right. Some classes is stretched up to 9:30. Some classes start at 8. So far I'm doing pretty well, but it's like I said, it's pretty tiring.
Right, tiring. Okay, if you say it's tiring, right? I do get it's tiring, but this is a question, an open floor question. Any one of you can answer. Do share with us because it's a talk. It's not that much of a speaking or TEDx thing. So as students, all right. Some of us to complain. We get up at like what 6 or 7 in the morning. Then we have to shower. Oh, traffic jam. We have to drive to uni and all that. So if physical classes are as tiring as online classes, how much of a difference do you think this has made, or how much of an impact do you think this has made in your lives? Anyone can answer first.
I think.
Oh no, it's okay. Kritina, you go.
No, it's okay, please.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. I think there is each of it has its own pros and cons. Like if face-to-face class, I would have to wake up earlier than I have to now, and I have to get ready, and I have to make sure I have everything prepared for class. I cannot forget my tag, my stethoscope, everything, and I have to make sure I'm there on time. But since it's online, I can just roll out of bed and type in my Zoom link and password, and I can just like I'm here on time. Hi. Yeah. So but on the other hand, I had more motivation when the classes were face to face compared to online. Yeah, online class is cool and all, but like I can't keep up motivation or like my enthusiasm for a very long time compared to when it's face to face. Because when you go to class, you can meet your friends and you can like share how you're feeling that day. But online, you are just like looking at everyone through a screen. That's how I feel.
Right. I feel you. I feel you. What about the rest of you? Like, how have you guys been coping, or how has it been for you? You know.
Well, as what Kitana said, that actually for me, right, because my university is like I live a quite far further away from my university campus. So I usually I drive to university. So I get the rush of adrenaline when I wake up in the morning. I have to beat 3 traffic jams in order to get to my university. So I wake up pretty early. So usually I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. Then by 5:30 I need to be out from my house. If not, I have to stuck in my traffic for 2 hours. So waking up that early in the morning, feels like like I achieve something great, because I'm like literally up than my parents or even my younger sibling. So it built it gave me a sense of adrenaline, like I was doing something good, like just like doing something with my life. But now it's just that the bed is just right there, my desk is just right here. I just like hop on or my Zoom, Microsoft Teams, just join the class. But then the thing is that the element of basically the bed is right there. It's like basically a temptation. Like you can just turn off your camera and then like join the class and just go back to bed, and then nobody knows, and then you just fell asleep. But as for physical class, right, like you're meeting your friends, and then like chit chatting, gossiping, that it brings your energy up, mood up, when you have physical class, and that makes you push forward, and when you're having physical class rather than just having online classes. Even though you're in class, you technically not speaking, and most of us is just awkward there. And then when lecturer do ask questions, and then nobody answers, and then the lecturer goes like, anybody? Yeah, so that's the difference I felt when it comes to physical and online classes.
Right. What about Rakesh or Stephanie? What do you guys think, or how has it been for you?
I gotta say, I feel honestly the same as Suvin and Kitana. Hearing the answers, I genuinely can think of how it has been for me in the past 1.5 years, being stuck at home. I do agree with Kitana when she said, there were pros and there were cons. And yes, I studied in Suvin University, and I used to, travel from Klang for like an 8 a.m. class.
Yo.
And I take yeah, that's right. So there are 2 options. Okay, so come to this kind of situation, there are 2 options. It's either I take a car and I drive, and the traffic is just terrible. It's really bad. You got to leave like before dawn to like reach in time. So the other option is to take the public transport, and that ain't any better. Public transport, it takes like easily 45 minutes for me to reach Subang Jaya, and then I got to take a BRT, and then I got to walk to campus. It's tiring. But when I think about it now, I did that. I actually did that 5 days a week. I actually woke up, got out of bed, had a shower in the morning, and went for class. Even had the time for breakfast. Talk about now. I would say it's a little bit more convenient that, I can roll out of bed, I can have my breakfast while I'm in my lecture, or, I don't have to worry about, picking out something to wear for the day and, putting on shoes and everything. It's really comfortable. But there are some downsides to it, I guess, because me personally, the pandemic came when I was starting my second year in uni, and right now I'm already in my final year in uni. So practically, I've spent like 2/3 of my degree at home, and I've always seen the university, a degree, tertiary education in general, as a platform for us to have some personal growth. I mean, there is no doubt that, being at home, there were a lot of personal growth which you can work on yourself. But I believe the universities are a great opportunity for you. They do give you a lot of opportunities for you to grow. Clubs and societies,
Right.
meeting your peers and everything. It's all there in university. So, when you're forced to stick at home and just study from the screen, the only thing that you are gaining from your degree is just the matter of your education. when it comes to growth, when it comes to, sports and activity, it's all like put on hold. So it's a bit demotivating, I guess, because, imagine just studying, you kind of get burned out in the end, just focusing on studying alone. So so like I said, as much as it was convenient, it was a very good change for me. I, if you would ask me whether I like it or not, I would say that I was not really a fan of it, because I feel like it took a lot of my energy and I didn't really like benefit much out of it. So yeah, that's actually my take on it.
Right. What about you, Stephanie?
I really relate to like whatever you guys said, especially Rakesh saying that you don't have to pick an outfit, because that's the one thing I love about online classes. I just roll out of bed in my pajamas, with my comfy hoodie, with my food next to me, and I can eat during class. That's something that I find really nice having online classes. But also, there is the downside where I don't get to meet new people. And because I'm only in my first year of my degree, I only got to go back to campus for about 3 weeks. And I got to meet this really small group of people. But then I feel like because we're all having classes online, it has really made me very anxious and also shy to actually put myself out there and talk to people, because previously I'm like naturally I'm already a really shy person, but being stuck at home, not being able to meet people and being confined by the four walls around you, you're just alone, and that just really made me even more scared to approach people the next time that I go out. So that is really something that I've been struggling with in the pandemic, because for online classes. And another thing is procrastination and zoning out during classes. I feel like in physical classes, I was able to pay attention better because, your lecturer is standing right in front of you, and then you have your peers around you, keeping you awake, and you get to talk to them. But now when you're just facing the screen, and sometimes you're just seeing names on the screen, not even their faces, because some people are uncomfortable with turning on their cameras.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's very hard to focus when you are not talking to the person face to face in real life. And it causes me to zone out in class a lot. And I always have to go back to refer to the lecture slides and the lecture recordings. And yeah, I think it has really affected the way that I studied in school because of not being able to see these people in real life.
There's I think all of you have made a point whereby I do agree with you, because my last semester of my degree life, I went into I think it wasn't really even the last semester. I was doing my finals at that time for my third year, first semester, and our last two papers just got postponed. I don't know what they call it, but then it just went online, and we all just hopped onto Discord and did our exams together because it was online, right? So all of us did our exams together, and then like what Stephanie said, when it came to classes, oh my god, you have no idea how much all of us was slacking. I was playing CS:GO in class, like the lecturer would be teaching, and I'm just like, boo boo boo, hey, rush me, you know. So like I do get where you guys are coming from, right? And yeah, this kind of sucks somehow. I mean, as university students, I realize that we are increasingly recognized as a very vulnerable group or population, right? And of course, this is something that you hear in a lot of university students. We constantly talk about depression. We're dealing with high levels of anxiety, and it leads to all sorts of mental health related issues like eating disorder and all that kind of stuff. It's like a chain reaction. It's like a chain reaction, like a dominoes effect. So I feel like when it comes to mental health in terms of education, right? Uh, I don't know. For me personally, it has impacted me a lot, especially like what you guys mentioned just now when it comes to friends, making friends, having the confidence to speak to people. I don't know. I got quite like I did feel somewhat. Uh, I wouldn't say depressed, but like I could feel the anxiety coming back, in online classes, it feels like you're free, but you're trapped at the same time. What do you guys think?
I completely agree with you. I find it very weird because I'm an outgoing person and I can make friends easily. But for some reason, I feel very anxious making friends online with people that I haven't met in real life because I feel like, okay, most of the time we are just having our cameras off. And when we speak, we are very shy because, it's online and we haven't met the person before. And I always worry what kind of impression I make on those people. Like, have I actually showed them my true self? Do they actually know what kind of person I am? Or like, is it just on the surface? And it's very easy for people to judge you when it's online because they haven't really met you in person and they don't really know what kind of person you are. Yeah.
Very true. That is very true.
I totally feel what Kitana is saying, like that. This entire online session of classes, right? The only thing that I dreaded the most is the awkwardness. Like no one is talking, and like me and Kitana is the same. Like, I'm a very extroverted person. Like I like to make friends and like bring up conversations and stuff like that. So like when they join in classes and stuff like that, right? Like try to be like, yo, how's your day going? And then nobody replies. Then like. So it's pretty difficult to communicate with your friends. And as it was like this, it would be totally different story with a physical class, So communication is one of the things that that affected me the most when it comes to online classes, especially during these difficult times, right? And also how is it teamwork as itself, because communication was it's affected, right? The teamwork. Let's say we have a group projects and stuff like that. That's also another hassle, It's difficult to get things done because, like what Stephanie said, we procrastinate, and then it's a lot of factors involved, So, for an extroverted person like me, it's very difficult to maneuver, during these online classes.
I think when Suvin mentioned awkwardness, the first thing that came into my mind was breakout rooms. Because whenever, I don't know, because for my course, my lecturers like to put us in breakout rooms to do like small group works and stuff. But whenever I get put into a random breakout room, I get really anxious because I don't know how the people are like on the other side of the screen, just like how they don't know how I'm like. And some of them they don't cooperate or work well together as what you would expect. And everyone is just like dead quiet and, no discussion gets done unless you are the one who initiate the discussion or bring up the ideas. And that was something that was really hard for me because like I mentioned earlier, I'm a really shy person. So to have to be that person who speaks first is actually quite daunting in my shoes. And I feel like a lot of people also can relate to this. And speaking about group projects, like in the past, we got to meet with our group members and friends to discuss it physically, right? Yeah. But now it's through Zoom. And every time before the meeting starts, I get really, really anxious because I just don't have that confidence to actually discuss with people that I don't really know and I can't really see them. And like what Kirtana said, like you don't know what they think of you. So you don't know whatever ideas you throw out or whatever opinions you say, you don't know whether they're judging you or not because you can't actually see them. And that just kind of like instigates this fear in me. So every time before a meeting, I get really anxious and I just have to try to calm myself down because of it.
Poor you.
Well, as for me, I gotta say nothing screams awkwardness more than how my classes happen. From March last year, since when the pandemic started until now, I have not been in a class where they even turn on the videos, that's one story, but turning on even their mics, it doesn't happen. So everything for the past 1.5 years has only been in the chat box. So, at times the lecturer, they ask questions and you're waiting for the answers from the students. It's very simple answers, but it takes like easily about 10 seconds for them to type it out and then like, okay, send. So like for 10 seconds, sometimes you're just like staring at the screen and you're like, oh, okay, no one is interacting with each other. Like, I don't know. I guess it was a culture that has slowly built up in the classes that I was in. So, when you're in that kind of environment, it's really not easy to get to know new people, especially these are like your peers. They're studying the same course as you. You're probably going to be graduating together. You're going to go out to the workforce together in the same industry. So to not be able to make friends with them, it was a bit like, it's really a challenge. We really want to be, close to these people, but it's not easy when we have to interact this way. Previously, I think one of them actually mentioned about assignments. And previously, I think group assignments were one of the best ways for us to get to know new people, work with new people, know their working style and everything. But so, we used to meet up in campus, have discussions and, do it together and everything. But I guess now when it's virtual, people are more like, okay, after they have like a virtual discussion, they're like, okay, so we're going to have a deadline and you come back to us when you're done with your work. So it's very different now. We don't really like work with them, but it's more like we compile our work and there's no interaction. There's nothing beyond our academics anymore. So it's a little tough to, be in that environment, get to know new people and, make new friends. It's really tough when it comes to virtual.
Yeah. Well, I guess like I could say the same for my own, but yeah, I mean this is I would say this is a question that is quite important as well. As most of you mentioned, your assignments are done online, right? So how are you all coping with your academics when you're studying from home? Like, have your results deteriorated, or are they better? Are you doing it better because you can copy from like an internet source, or is it
Yeah.
getting worse because it's getting tougher?
Uh, you can go first.
And I meant, so, okay. Sorry. So I guess for me, it has been a little bit, when you talk about results, I guess you can say it's a little bit better compared to, when it was physical, because I mean, I guess it's human nature. You have the resources in front of you, you're definitely going to want to score as well as you can, for your grades. But when it comes to a matter of, have I really, is the learning as effective as it was back in physical? I guess the learning really wasn't as effective because this virtual environment is not just new for us, but it's new for our lecturers as well. And I really believe that as much as technology is there, everything is there, they have not really had the chance to utilize this to deliver what they usually deliver to us in a normal classroom. So I guess in classrooms, it was much more interactive, it was much more effective, and the delivery of knowledge was even better back then. But I guess now it's not as effective. So it's a little bit hard to, be completely master your syllabus when it's online, I guess, because it's more of a self-teaching process. So it's like, I have a lot of questions I can ask, yes, but it's not like last time. So the best I can do is learn by myself and, just, hit Google and try to answer my own questions. But I guess it's not the same as how it was back then in, a physical environment.
Right.
I think with what Rakesh said also about the quality of learning, that is something that I agree on. In terms of grades, like, yes, my grades have improved compared to when they were in physical classes, but I'm going to be honest and say, I don't think I'm learning much because my course is 100% assignment based. There's no examinations or anything. And I feel like studying from home has made me just do things at the bare minimum. I'm not striving to do things like as much as I was before the pandemic hit. So right now I'm just like learning for the sake of completing my assignments. Whereas like knowledge, in terms of knowledge, I don't think I'm actually absorbing much. So it's like it goes in one ear and it basically comes out the other, unless it's for my assignments, and then only I'll apply it to my assignments. But anything outside that is not assignment based for like the subjects that I'm taking, I feel like I'm not able to grasp it as well as I was in the past. So that's something that I'm struggling with.
Yes, what Stephanie said, I really do be struggling with procrastination a lot. Just having online classes made it even worse. Like having online classes, like I'll be having Zoom in this screen, and then my hands start itching. Like, let me see what's on YouTube recommendation or what's new on Netflix. And then completely my focus completely shift from classes to entertainment. And another thing is that because having online classes, right, it make me really anxious of scheduling, because compared to physical class, like you have your timetable, and then you always together with your friends, a group of friends, right, your classmates, and then you navigate around the campus. Then you always know, okay, this time I have this class, and that time I have this class. So now, because everything's online, right, the moment you doze off, that's it, finished. You just skip that class. So I'm scared of that, because my attendance for my university attendance is very sensitive, and so this is the first year. This is the first year I ever used the calendar. I'm pretty sure nobody here used the calendar. Like you never open the calendar on your phone and check. Like I literally created a whole scheduling for my entire semester to make sure each subject, or 1 hour before I get a notification on my phone, or your class is starting this time, don't forget. So it made me really scared of missing out classes, and stuff like that. So I have to like pick up a new habit that I didn't have before. But here's the thing that I noticed, that I should have had this habit even though I had my physical class, because having a thing on your phone that constantly reminding you, put you back on track is really beneficial, especially for me and my productive lifestyle. And it's what Stephanie said also, that my course is basically 100% assignment based. And another part that really scares me is that because I'm an IT student, I do mostly with coding, right? Normally we will have like individual sessions with the lecturer to show our coding, whether it works or not, or we did anything wrong. So during the physical class, right, before the lecture, have like one-to-one session with us, like check each other's code, or like double check if my code was working the same way as my friends. But as for this, right, you have like an individual breakout room with the lecturer, alone by yourself. And then if something goes wrong and the code doesn't work, you like start panicking. I cannot ask my friends, like, because even during the class, right, we're not talking to each other using the mic. We're talking to each other using the phone. So then what's this for? That really throws me off, lah.
I understand.
I can completely relate to Suvin when he said about like the procrastination and about missing class. That happened to me so many times. Like example, the class would be on 3, and then 3:15 I'd be like, wait, I have class now. And I'll rush to class and open my laptop and type in my Zoom link. Oh my gosh, that happened to me like quite a number of times, which it shouldn't have. And also like being a medical student, right? I cannot go to the next year without completing my practicals, So I'm stuck here. I'm supposed to be in year 4 now, but I'm still in year 3. And last year, when I was in my year 2, my exams kept getting delayed because they were trying to have it online. At that time, we didn't really know how the situation was going to be. So they kept debating whether it's going to be online or face-to-face. And we didn't know until the very last minute. And finally, they said our finals is going to be online. And that is the very first exam that we had online. Because although we were having this pandemic and stuff, all my continuous assessment got delayed. And all 3 of our continuous assessment, they had it at once towards the end. And then a few weeks later, like 2 weeks later, we had our finals online. So it was very uncertain, And like, I feel like the uncertainty is really bad for our mental health. Like you're just constantly anxious what's going to happen. Am I going to graduate at this rate?
I feel you. I feel you. I think I can top that off a little bit by saying, because I am working as I'm studying, right? So going into online classes have somewhat, I can relate completely to the procrastination part, because like things are so flexible and so convenient that I can just carry my phone or my Surface Pro with me and like just leave the house, go meet up like back then when things were a little like eased out, right, before we went back into like the very serious MCO state, right? Like I could meet up with my friends for lunch and I could be having lunch and talking about stuff while being in classes. Because I think at the very end of the day, right, it's not the attending class thing that really matters to us. It's more of a, oh, I need the attendance to pass my grades, something like that. So that the university doesn't like call up my parents and say, hey, your child has not been in classes. But you can't do that if you're physically in campus, because you cannot run away without the university like, finding out that you've been missing like 3 months of classes. But for online classes, it's completely normal. So I feel like somehow I have developed like a very lazy and casual stigma when it comes to my classes. And for final year, it's very dangerous. Thank God I graduated. I swear to God. Because the number of classes I've not attended just because I'm at the mama or I'm out for grocery shopping or like, I'm just sleeping or working or doing something else. Oh my God. So I understand the procrastination part. It's so difficult. And like, I mean, okay, since most of us are doing classes from home, right? And I think this is a question for the whole table because I'm pretty sure you guys have your own ups and downs as well. One good thing about all of us, I assume all of us are Asians, right? In this room.
Yeah.
I think this doubles up the question. Uh, how is the pressure like from your parents and like, or your family members, your immediate family members, and how much does it affect your mental health? Like, I can start off a bit. I can start off a bit by just saying classes hasn't been easy for me at home because it causes this mental stress for me because I'm studying in my room. I'm very comfortable where I am. My parents being like Asian parents, especially my mom, she gets very concerned about me missing classes. So she'll pop open the door every 15 minutes or so without knocking. And it gets on my nerves eventually because you don't know, like say if I'm presenting, it's not nice if your mom is just standing right there and like, just watching you do your thing, and like it gets very uncomfortable, right? So yeah, I think that took a huge toll on my personal mental health for studying at home, especially with my family around. So, what about you guys?
To be honest with you, both my parents are working, so they wouldn't like come home till 7. So most of the time I'll be at home alone.
Even during
See,
MCU.
Yeah, okay. MCU is a different story. Yeah, because my mom has her own stuff. Like literally, my dad will be downstairs, his own Zoom meeting. Like everybody just like their own screen and just minding their own business. So I feel like yeah, it is nice to have your own comfort, your home, but it's not outside. It's not being out there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, it's an open floor.
I feel like my parents like don't. It doesn't really affect me as much as as much as it did during school for me. Because like my mom really wanted me to go into this certain course, which I wasn't at that time. I wasn't even sure if I wanted it, but I don't know if it was brainwashing or whatever. But I've never like thought of doing anything else other than MBBS. But like since I was a kid, definitely my mom would be like, "Oh, you want to become a doctor?" And my grandfather would be like, "Come put injection for me," that kind of thing. So I don't know if it's like brainwashing or I actually wanted to do this, but I like it. I'm not saying I don't like it. And yeah, so there was this pressure to do well in school, which at that time, because of that pressure, I didn't do well. Like I used to score well when I was younger, and then as I got older, I was just like, I think I just stopped caring because I was never getting recognition for whatever grades I was getting. I was always getting criticized. So I just stopped caring. And then like somehow when I got the course that I wanted and my mom wanted, like she toned down a lot lah. Like my mom toned down a lot. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, well, for me, I gotta say, the whole online environment kind of changed the way which I approached my studying. Previously it used to be like, okay, I have a schedule in university and I have to go for all my classes because, if I miss them, then I'm left out. I do not know what happened and it's very tough to get back on track. But I guess being online, there was the privilege of, let's say I'm too packed for the day, I can choose to, okay, I can opt to not attend to this class because I know it's going to be recorded, it's going to be uploaded, I can watch it later on. So I guess, like I think Suvin mentioned earlier, how preparing our own schedule was very important, when doing it online. So the first few months, I would say it was a bit tough for me to manage, all the things they were giving us. Came to a point where I was like, okay, you know what? Things are online now. It's based on your convenience. It's all there. It's a much easier platform for you. Why don't you take things into your own hands and study based on your capacity instead of trying to push yourself as much as you can? So I sort of like worked by my own schedule. Certain classes, which I feel like it's just a matter of lecture, just a matter of the lecturer delivering it to you, and there's no interaction. I'm like, okay, I don't see the need for me to be there live. I can always just attend it whenever I'm free. Maybe during a Saturday when I'm like, okay, right now I don't have anything to do and I don't mind doing some work. Let me get this book done. So that was how I decided to approach my degree. But Asian parents being Asian parents, they are like, oh, I got an email from university that you did not attend your class at this particular time. Why did you not attend your class? And I'm like, it's not like last time, things are different now. And I see that, we all are young adults. We want to do, because think about it, when you go out to the working force, your boss gives you a deadline, you know what you have to do, you work the way you work, and you get the results. So
Correct.
I decided to take things that way, take things into my own hands, study the way that it's convenient for me and, most productive for me. But as usual, the pressure is from the other side where, I have to sort of like assure them that, I do understand the concern from the other side. Sometimes they feel like, oh, maybe he's like funking his subjects or he's like, slacking off. So the concern is from the other side. And I have the need to assure that, there's nothing to worry about. I have it under control and I'm doing it the way that I'm doing it. So I guess that assuring is sort of like a pressure for me because we already have like 101 new things to worry about ever since the pandemic started. And like this just adds on like, oh, okay, now I got to assure you as well that, you don't have to worry and I am doing things the way that I'm doing things. So, the thing about the pandemic was I constantly changed the way I worked, constantly had different plans, different schedules. The amount of platforms I utilized and gave up and, went into new platforms. Okay, this platform to remind me of my to-do list for today. I utilize calendars, the iPhone calendar, the Outlook calendar, the Google calendar. I utilized every single one which is available to me because I was trying to find a way that can make me keep going from a Monday to a Friday and then a Monday to often I gave up in between and I was like, okay, I need something more convenient for me. So I guess, trying to just satisfy the people around me and assure them that, things are going as according to plan, sort of like added more pressure on me. And I found it a bit more difficult to,
Yeah. I do get where you're coming from. Just as of now, my mom just opened my door as we're recording this. Well, what about you, Stephanie? You've been pretty quiet throughout this whole session, though.
Yeah, I've been listening to what you guys said, and I can, relate to a lot of what you guys are going through. For my parents, they do care that I, whether I attend classes, whether I skip classes, that's something they care about, like any parent would. But the thing about them is they don't like nag at me every single time because they want me to be the one who's responsible for all these kind of things. I'm growing up. I can't constantly be relying on them to tell me that I have class at this time. I have to do my assignments at this time. And if I do end up missing a class, that's on me. And they want me to know that because that's how you become responsible for your own situations, In terms of grades, I'm thankful that they don't put too much pressure on my grades. Of course, I have to maintain a certain standard for my assignments or my examinations. But if I do end up doing badly, they don't emphasize on it a lot. Like they don't say like, oh, why do you get this kind of grade? That's a useless grade and all those sort of things, which is something that I really am grateful for. I think the thing about academics and pressure mostly comes from my own self because I'm very, very hard on myself when it comes to certain things. And the other day, I was really, I actually cried in front of my mom because I was afraid I wouldn't be able to do well in my current semester. And she told me, and I really hope that you guys listening to this, maybe it can help you also. She told me to not strive for perfection, to not be so hard on yourself. And it's okay if you fail. And it's okay if you keep failing and failing and failing, just as long as you learn from your mistakes and also, pick yourself up and improve on where you have gone wrong. As long as you realize that, oh, this is a mistake you've made and this is what I'm going to work on. And as long as you achieve this certain standard, or you don't have to strive to like the skies to the heavens or anything, just as long as you know what's good for you, you learn from it, then it's all right already. And ever since she told me that, that's what I've been trying to repeat to myself every day, on certain hard days where I put myself down or when I'm stressed for my assignments, being afraid, not being able to, get the score that I want. Then I just kind of replay what she says in my head to remind myself that it's okay if you fail because we're not all going to succeed in everything that we do, right? We're going to have our little ups and downs. So yeah, what she said really resonated with me a lot. And that is something I'm really thankful that my parents understand when it comes to studying and, being in a pandemic as a student in college. So yeah.
Speaking of what Stephanie said, right? I can totally relate when you said that your parents doesn't nag you as much as over the Kitana or Edison, coming to the door every 15 minutes. I would say when I was younger, my parents were a lot stricter. But as I grow older, especially in university. The moment I entered university, my parents just stopped nagging, especially about the results, So usually they ask, oh, what do you get for exam? What do you get for exam? The moment I say 3 point, my CGPA 3 point, she said bye. She's happy with the result. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to tell you anymore. And I sort of relate with what Kitana said that I supposed to study for software engineering, but I ended up taking cybersecurity because this is like a last minute change, So right after I graduated high school, I went to this education fair in Mid Valley. So to look out for universities to pursue my higher education. So when I was interested in software engineering, that's what I wanted to do. But then when I reached the counselor, right, which is the university that I'm studying right now, he said that the market is saturated. There'll be a trouble. You have trouble finding jobs. That really kind of puts pressure on me. Like I need to make a last minute change. And then my dad was like, what are the other subjects you can have to ensure that my son have a good future. Then like cybersecurity is quite new. We just started this course, and I was like, what? Like I have to register there and there. I was like, God damn, I have no choice. Then I chose cybersecurity. Then I just went through with it, with foundation. Then eventually went to degree. Then I kind of learned that I actually like the subject compared to software engineering because some of my friends I met in foundation, they did software engineering and they dreaded their life. They they hated software engineering. Then mine was quite chill, and I actually loved what they were teaching me. So that really shifted my mindset a bit. Yeah.
I can relate to what Suvin said, like in the sense that they were a lot stricter before me entering foundation and doing my degree. But now that I'm in degree, they are a lot more supportive. Like during my year one finals, I was calling my grandfather and crying. I'm like, oh no, I can't do the paper tomorrow, because the thing that I worry about is whatever I'm studying is not going to come out tomorrow. Like I'm so anxious that I'm like wasting my time reading all of this and it's just not going to come out in the exam tomorrow. But that is the worry. I'm not supposed to have that worry, because if I worry about that, then what am I going to study, right?
Correct.
So, yeah. Then my grandfather was just like, just don't care about that. Just read whatever you can and go into the exam and just do the paper. And my dad was like, and I was worrying about failing that year. And my dad was like, it's okay if you fail the year, then if you have to repeat another year, then repeat another year. It's okay. It doesn't matter. Right. As long as we reach our end goal, it shouldn't matter.
Well, I do think that you guys have really supportive parents. Mom, I still love you. Okay, as much as I open my doors all the time, I still love you. Yes. Indeed, going into university, I did get a lot more freedom in terms of a lot of things. They're not so strict anymore, just like Suin's parents and Katina, your parents as well. So I suppose it's a 50-50 thing, right? Online classes and having your family members around. But yeah, nonetheless, it's a really heavy topic. Something that Suvin mentioned earlier, I feel like it could be pretty interesting enough for next week's topic or any topic so on. Is the course that you're choosing right now the right one? And how do you determine what's the right one? I feel like it's a great topic to sit down, like just anywhere and talk about it, Right?
Yeah.
Great talk, ladies and gentlemen. It's heavy, man.
Yeah, it was.
It's a lot to take in for
Yeah.
one day. Yeah, but anyways, it's been a really great session. Do join us next week. We'll be posting more on all of our social media platforms as well. Do check us out on YouTube, possibly TikTok. We don't know yet. It's still in the planning. And also Instagram. If you're on Instagram, just go check us out. If you're not, please download the app and watch us. Or if you're a boomer like some of us, do go on Facebook and watch our videos as well. So once again, thank you so much, all of you, for joining us on the podcast today. It's great to have you guys here. Awesome talk. Really loved it. And to the rest of you who are still listening right now, we'll see you guys in the next episode. And have a great one. Take care. Wash your hands.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.